Hey, I'm Mark,
And I'm Chris.
and we're the leftovers.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
I did not agree to that. Go.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, you know what we're going to talk about today?
Why don't you tell me?
Leadership.
Oh, no.
Yes, sir. Leadership. It's a
Leadership.
necessary quality, but harder to find than you might think.
I mean, there's only room for so many leaders. Everyone can't be a leader, otherwise you have everybody going their own separate way, and it just messes everything up.
Do you think everybody wants to be a leader
No.
or have leadership qualities?
No.
You would be correct. Not everybody was made to be or wants to be a leader or have leadership positions.
No, not everybody is made to be a leader. There's a lot of people that think they should be a leader when they really shouldn't. And I mean, there's a lot of people in leadership positions.
Say that 3 times fast.
I can't say it fast once. There's a lot of people in leadership positions that
Very good.
don't need to be leaders,
This is true.
whether that's government, whether that's school, whether that's church.
Sometimes situational, say that 3 times. Situational positions happened, and you're at the top of the ladder, and you're going to become the next leadership role, and you're just kind of shoved into that. Although you're not supposed to be there. It happens all the
You're
time.
not ready for it.
No, happens all the time. That's doing a little bit of, just a little bit.
Oh, with you, just
Li-
a little bit, yeah.
Little bit of study.
That huge book over there you got of stuff.
No, just a little bit.
It's just a tiny notepad, but it's still a lot of information.
Well, depends on how you look at it, I guess. But
What you
yeah.
got written over there?
We got written. Of course, we need to know what leadership, which is what we're talking about.
What's the
What
definition
leadership
of leadership?
is. You know what? We're gonna share. We're gonna share today.
I don't
What
wanna
is
share.
leadership, Chris?
You have written down here, leadership is the ability of an individual or a group of people to influence and guide followers or members of an organization, society,
Or so the internet says.
or team. That looks like an F, so I was like, society of team. Like, that makes no sense.
Now we've made it make sense. The ability, or an individual or group. See, originally when we started talking about this, I was thinking individual only.
Well, when you think of leader,
Ship. I know.
When you think
Leader comes.
when you talk about a leader of something, it's usually the person that's head over. Even you can have a group that leads, but at the top of that group, there's still a leader
Right.
that group follows.
But the group is leading whatever
yes,
you're leading.
So, well, I mean, it's like a basketball team.
It is just like a basketball team.
Okay. You already had the thought, so I was going to let you go with it.
I didn't. I don't.
You didn't know where I was going.
I had
You just
no
wanted to
idea.
interrupt me like that.
I thought I knew where you're going, and then I didn't.
Well, now that you took me off the ball, I don't remember.
Just like the basketball team, you said.
Just like any team, there is a leader of the team, which is usually it's
LeBron James.
yeah. I mean,
He's a leader. He's a leader.
he's the leader of that team. There's some teams that the coach is the leader.
Yeah.
That's usually not for
It usually
for a
works
pro
out
team.
a lot better when the coach leads, but it doesn't always work out like that.
Actually, I think it's completely different.
You think so?
I think for the Lakers, LeBron leading the team is what's bringing the success they've had. And when he's not there, they don't succeed as well.
Right. But if your coach was leading, maybe when he's on the bench, maybe somebody else steps up. Maybe.
maybe,
I mean,
but,
you're still talking about him versus the rest of the
Patrick
league,
Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is the leader of the Kansas City Chiefs,
right? But
even though Andy Reid is the coach.
Andy Reid is the leader of that team. I believe that.
He's the head coach.
Yes, but
He should-
leadership, I think, is in his ballpark.
Yeah, with how much time he's been around and the success he's
Are
had.
you saying he's an old guy?
Yes,
He
Andy
is
Reid is an old guy. But he's had tons. He's been with multiple teams and had tons of success with all of the teams.
Yeah. And, you know, when you think about leadership, you do think about, I do, sports comes to mind a lot because it's on display for you. You can see when it's working, you can see when it's not working.
Well, also as being males, majority of the
Says you?
With us being males, the majority of the
People,
no
teams, leadership roles, coaches, cheerleaders.
when someone tries to show you something, when people try to give us examples of showing leadership or qualities or something, they usually use sports metaphors.
They do. Mm-hmm.
For us, and women, it's something different. I don't know because I'm not a
Kitchen
woman.
stuff. Knives and forks and cake pans.
Sandwich making. Make me a sandwich.
Betty
woman.
Crocker.
Oh heavens!
Sport.
Trying to have a serious conversation. You're over here talking about women needing to be in the kitchen.
Well, I could say somewhere else.
The bedroom.
All right. So,
All right, let's get serious.
as I was doing a little bit of research, just a little, very, very little, some qualities that are ideal for leadership. You need some qualities that are ideal for leadership. You don't have to have these to be in a leadership role, but they really help.
It's usually the things that people look for in somebody that's going to be a leader.
Yes, they help. If you have them, they help. If you don't, you can probably still get by without them. And the first one is communication.
Communication.
Is that French?
No.
Okay.
Mix of German, Spanish, English.
Just mix it all in when you got communication. Because, you know, communication is important, very important. But in a leadership role, when you think about a leader or leadership position for folks, to have good communication skills, to be able to relay what they want to say and not, I mean, as far as understanding, well, that ain't a good way to put it. It's my muff.
That was me banging my head against my microphone.
So if someone can be decisive in their words and communicate, if you were on a...
Well, it's not just communication. It's communicating well.
Yes.
Because you can communicate and it be skewed and
Yes.
no one can understand you. Good communication.
Yeah. That's kind of... So if you're decisive and you're to the point in your communication skills as a leadership position, you're going to be head and heels ahead of someone who can't. I think that communication is very important. I look back and I was thinking as I was doing the communication thing that when I was in, let's say, high school.
All right, let's say you were in high school.
I just said it. You said it too.
Well, you said let's say, so I said it, and you.
And I
said
appreciate
it, so we
you
said it
saying
together.
it. I really
So
do. Your communication skills are, yeah,
My sarcasm skills are way
way
up
up there. But I was thinking about school teachers that communicated well to me. Was easier for me to learn. Though one, and I won't say this guy's name, rest his soul, not living. I imagine there's a lot of teachers I had that's not living.
Yeah, since you were in high school in the dark ages.
The 80s. That's not the dark ages. But this one Just one school teacher I had.
40 years before I graduated. Well, no, 30 years because I graduated in 10.
Yeah. So, missed all my train of thought.
See, it's not fun.
10. That's 20 years.
You said 80.
I was in high school in the 80s. Graduated in 90.
So your freshman year was 86?
Sure.
If I'm not, no, my brother was born in 88. Never mind.
I don't know where all.
If you graduated in 90, your freshman year would be.
Sure. But you know how you start in the fall and you end in the spring, and it messes everything up. Okay, what was we talking about?
Confused you, didn't I?
Yes, you did. Oh, I had a school teacher that his communication skills, to say the least, were terrible. That's to say the least. And in order to get out of working, his job was to allow us to learn, show us material, have us learn each and every day, which apparently he didn't want to work. So his job was, in the first 3 minutes of class, he would figure out a way that we were wrong, he was right, to give us work to where he could read the paper for the rest of the class. We're not learning. He's not teaching. His communication skills were terrible. So how did he get in the position he had?
Nepotism. Well, basically, with teacher, it would be he did the bare minimum to keep his job and get tenure. Then after he got tenure,
that's the big one. Yeah.
After he got tenure, didn't matter.
That's, I wonder. Communication, Chris. It's very necessary. Very necessary in leadership roles.
No matter where, whether it's the leader of the army or...
But the leader of the pack.
The Packers.
Oh, the pack. It's a song.
Excuse me. No, communication is important even without being a leader, but in the context of leadership, yes. Whether it's the leader of a school, being the principal or president of a school, leading the school for the success of the kids of that school, whether it's the leading of a congregation, whether you're Baptist, Catholic, Church of Christ, there's a leadership of all of those churches, whether it's elders, the Pope, the minister, what do you call yours?
Pastor.
The pastor.
Preacher,
pastor.
Brother, so-and-so.
Brother. You've got to communicate effectively, because if you don't communicate effectively, the other people that you are using to effectuate what you want are not. They don't know what is needed.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen that happen.
Communication between the two of us. If we don't communicate very well, it sounds like blah, 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 blah.
Sometimes that's an improvement.
Sometimes, yeah. Mainly for me, but yeah.
Thanks a lot.
What, that blah, 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 was an improvement? That was supposed to be a compliment, yes, to you.
So as we go down the list of qualities ideal for leadership.
Ideal qualities for a leader. What's number 2? Vision. Okay, when
Is
you
that
say
French?
no. when you say the quality is vision,
Vision.
what do you mean by vision?
I'm glad you asked. To see ahead of your current situation. Clearly.
To think ahead.
Yes. To be able to see not just the right now, but the what's coming.
So when you say vision, more of like critical thinking.
Sure.
Because you've got to be, because not only do you have to be able to see what's going on right now, right here with where we're at, but what's possibly going to happen in the future, or if you've got to move, or if
that helps.
Yes.
Yeah. And not everybody's gonna be superior.
Hello.
You don't have to possess all of these qualities. I mean, you don't have to be wonderful at all of them. It just helps to have them when you're in a leadership position. Vision, to be able to see things that could be coming your way, maybe not, but just have an idea that, the road isn't always super straight. There's going to be curves. You got to anticipate the curves.
Well, in all honesty, I would think that being a leader, you should be proficient in all of these.
I don't know how you could be in all of them. Could be
maybe not proficient, but be higher than the average person
Sure.
in all of these.
I get that. Mm-hmm.
Because everybody should have these qualities. We don't always have all of it. Some people be high in one category, low in the other, and that makes us different as people. But the people that are supposed to be leading should be better than everybody at all these qualities.
Vision, having vision, looking to tomorrow. Something I don't like doing. Don't like looking to the next day. I think right now is what we have. That's kind of my way of looking at things, because it's always today.
Well,
Am I right?
We are never
right.
we are never promised tomorrow.
Nope.
But that doesn't mean you shouldn't be prepared.
Prepared. I agree. I live that way. But it's for me, it's right now. Is how it is.
Because that's all you got.
It is. But some people live into tomorrow. I know people that live tomorrow.
There's people that live in the past.
Yeah, that's even more dangerous.
There's no telling how many. I mean, there's a
4.
When you watch these TV shows or movies, and they represent the high school quarterback, that's the highest.
Could never get away from it.
Yeah, because that's the best he feels his life ever was, and he always lives in that. Oh, I was the quarterback that led us to the first playoff. Yeah.
Al Bundy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying. It's funny, you knew who I was talking about when I said Al Bundy.
And instead of looking at what he had...
How do you get out of that, though? Once you're 25 years away from leading your high school team to a state champion that they never had before, and now you're 25 years removed and working at the grocery store and got 4 kids, and you're still remembering 25 years ago. That's tough. That'd be hard to get away from. I never had that ability, but I've watched enough movies. So.
Well, I mean, for
rabbit fur.
There's no problem in having those high school memories.
No,
but when that's how you live the rest of your life is always having to go back to that.
You could tell when someone hits hard times, if they continue to return to what it was, they're living that over and over in their mind. Versus living for what it will be, that's
Or-
different.
Or even living for what you have. I mean, we're in a
Things you mean, or just present time?
say that again.
Are you talking about living for stuff, or just living now? I didn't know which one you're talking about.
Not stuff, living
Just for
or,
the now.
or people, living for people. I mean, if you can't find purpose in living for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
then find a purpose in living for your children. If you don't have children, parents. If you don't have parents, friends. If you don't have friends, then
But what did we talk about a couple weeks ago? About taking care of this one first, and then you're able to help others. So,
well, I didn't say take care of them. I said live for them.
live for them. I don't understand.
Okay.
Elaborate, please. Excuse me.
A lot of
Just give me an example, hypothetical. Sally Sue did what?
you talking about living
Living
for
for someone else, yeah. She's excluding her happiness for someone else's. Angry husband that hits her every night. I don't get it.
It's when I say live for somebody,
Mm-hmm.
it's not taking away your happiness for theirs.
Mm-hmm.
It's living so they can be happy. Because how many times when somebody's committed suicide, it's the family that has to stay behind and
Yes.
deal with all that grief.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to end my life today, I'm not suicidal. No, I'm dealing with my depression. But if I was suicidal, it would be to live for my kids, because if I die,
You're being
living,
selfish.
It's selfish.
Mm-hmm.
They're living without a father. That puts them behind the 8 ball. I'm the breadwinner for the family, so there goes money right there that they're going to have to live without.
So you're saying that living for others is good?
Not always.
But I think in that situation it is, right?
Yes, but at the same time, if you're living in the past, you're gone. You're not here. You're
Right.
not living for your kids. You're not living for your wife. You're trying to relive your old days and
Good old days.
what you think is good old
Yeah.
days.
Instead of living for right now. All right. Having a vision, leadership, what we're talking about. I think that's what we're talking about. Leadership. Communication was the first ideal.
I think we need to change the name of the podcast.
Yeah.
Change it to Tangents.
Tangent. Hey, same thing. It means the same thing. Leftovers, tangents, talking about what we want to talk about, things like that. So
We at least start off
in the right area, in the same area. So 5 qualities ideal to have for leadership.
Number
What was the
3.
first one?
First one was communication.
What was the second one?
Vision.
Vision. Or if you're French,
Vision.
Pepe Le Pew.
Pepe Le Pew.
So the number 3 ideal qualification for leadership is empathy.
Empathy.
Do we know what empathy is? Yes, we do, because I've got it wrote down.
Well, I was trying to.
It's the ability to understand and share the feelings of others.
Without going through
The
what they've
ability
gone through.
to understand and share the feelings of others.
Without going through what they've gone through.
Great leadership qualities is to read others well. I have seen leadership, bosses, whatever you want to call them. You can call them whatever you want to.
I call my boss Dad. Actually, I call him Papa.
You do. And I have seen leaders not be able to understand the feelings of others. It always seems to be about self. That's not a good leadership quality.
Not
you need to
all.
understand that other people have feelings too. You're not the only one that got your feelings hurt as a boss or as a leader. There's other people involved. And to take the other person's feelings to heart, to have empathy for that person, is a great quality. I think, personally, caring about the other person, ever who that is, whatever your job situation looks like, school situation looks like, home situation looks like, church situation, to care what the other person is feeling is necessary in life in general, I believe.
Yeah, in life, and I mean, whether you're a leader or not, having empathy for people is a very important trait.
Who promotes leaders or leadership roles in our everyday lives? Are there people you look up to in life, not job, not, just in everyday life, that you consider a great leader because they have empathy, they can communicate, they have vision for the future? Maybe there's somebody you encounter at the grocery store, or you've seen for the last 20 years on, maybe it's a neighbor. I have to believe the ones that I would elevate to that, you just cut me off. The ones that I would elevate to that role have empathy and they care. One thing that I believe that gets overlooked is listening to the other person. You can hear the other person, but actually listening to the other person tells me, when someone listens to me talk, give me eye communication, give me eye contact.
Eye communication.
That's another thing. That's a different topic. It's on another day. Hey, watch the Morse code. And when they listen to what I say, to me, they care about what I'm saying. That's empathy. They care for my feelings. They care for what I have to say. And to me, in communication, when someone listens with their eyes, with their ears, that, you feel like you could talk to them forever. That is a great quality that not everyone has.
No. And I think that's more of a challenge for men, is to have empathy, because we're always, trying to think, emotionally having empathy. Well, I'm trying to think of how to say it.
With your mouth.
Shut up. With guys, we're not taught to be very emotional. We're supposed to be very locked in to ourselves. We're not supposed to worry about feelings.
Cry at Forrest Gump. Nothing like that.
No, that's no. You're not allowed to cry at Forrest Gump. You're not allowed to cry during the Titanic. I remember when I was a kid, and I wasn't allowed to watch the Titanic movie.
I could see why.
Yeah, because Kate Winslet. But my brother watched it. He watched it multiple times, and every time not every time. There was a lot of times where he would cry,
Mm-hmm.
and I would see the tears, and I would.
Sad movie. I'm with you. So.
Oh yeah, but I would.
But as a guy, you're not
but
supposed
as
to show that.
Yeah, and so whenever I would see that as a little kid, I would make fun of him for crying. during that movie.
What are you doing, baby?
You little wuss
Little
crying at a
girly-
movie.
Girly boy.
And now,
Now it strikes you in a different area.
well, now that I'm an adult and I see how stupid that is to make fun of him for crying at a movie.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when I get into a TV show that I really like,
You feel like you're in the middle of it, don't you?
correct, and it's a show that I've been watching since,
You were 3.
no,
Four.
I was in high school. I think it might have been my freshman year of high school. Show Supernatural.
Never heard of it. Sorry.
Well, I'm into supernatural stuff like that. But there was a show called Supernatural. It had Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles.
That's a mouthful.
Yes. Have you seen The Boys? No. Jensen Ackles is in that show, and then Jared Padalecki moved on to doing the remake of Walker, Texas Ranger. And I can't, because I've watched so much of Supernatural, I see those two guys as their characters in Supernatural.
That happens.
And when something happens to them that is very emotional in that show, I would find myself getting emotional. And then when the show ended, how they ended it, it was like I had myself invested in this show so much, and now that it's over and how it ended brought tears to my eyes. Because
The reason I brought up Forrest Gump, got a good friend, and while he was watching Forrest Gump, he had some tears flowing, little tear action, and at that time,
when Mama dies,
it's still a joke to this. No, not Mama. When the Jenny dies,
when Jenny dies,
that's pretty sad. And yeah, I get it now. And then on the Titanic, when it's the last movie that you watched with your brother before he passes away, and then the next time you watch it,
tears just come strolling down your face.
it's not a good situation. So, yeah, I think that people that can get that invested in a movie have the ability to have empathy for others. I do, because you're in touch with your emotions. And so if you are in touch with your own, I'm going to believe you're going to be in touch with other people's as well.
Well, you have to
Makes you a good leader. If you can cry at Forrest Gump, you can cry at Titanic, you're a good leader.
Well, what I'm trying to get at, though, is through the emotion, we've got to be careful because, I mean, politicians all the time.
It's all about politics for you, ain't it?
No, it's an example.
I say that smiling.
Politicians, they play on
Lie.
your emotions.
No.
I mean, everything, whether it's from,
If you let them.
whether it's
If
from,
you believe anything they say, yes.
whether it's from the border crisis to transgender to
It's all made up.
school, no matter what it's about, but they play on those emotions to try to get you to vote for them. It's all a game to them.
You
So-
got to know that.
Well, not all of them. There's some of them that generally
They don't lie.
very few politicians that.
They're not going to keep their job long if they don't.
Well, I mean, they might get.
It's
voted
like
in
choosing
once
the
or
lesser
twice.
of evils
Yeah,
to elect a politician.
I mean that's how Donald Trump got voted in the first time.
Lesser of evils.
People thought he was the lesser of the two evils between him and Hillary Clinton.
So the next quality that would be very good for someone to have for leadership is Accountability. Way to go, buddy.
Well, you're giving the dyslexic one words
Backward
and writing them down
and
and telling me
upside
to read them.
To take the load on your shoulders.
To be accountable.
Yes. You will accept. You think about this in a work situation, or we'll use a work situation. Situation. And let's say you see a coworker do something wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a test. This is a question they ask on a lot
got you frazzled.
Yeah. These are questions that they might ask you on a job interview.
If you see a coworker do something that's wrong or illegal, would you say something?
Did you want me to say it, or did you want to say it?
Well, you were taking so long, I figured
you wanted to say it.
You were taking so long, I figured I would just say it.
I have to pause. What do they call that? Dramatic pause to set it up, and you just
today, Junior.
You just went right through it, right to it, said it, and now I don't know what to say. Messed me all up. So, if you saw a coworker do something wrong, would you tell on them? So, how do you answer that?
Would you tell them or tell on them?
Or would you do both?
Well, tell on them would be different.
What if you didn't know them that well? Like, you've been on the job 3 weeks, so you're not really acquainted with your coworkers, and you see them slip something in their pocket that belonged to the company. And do you go tell that person, hey, I saw you do that? Or do you go tell the next line of management up, hey, JoJo over there just stuck up so-and-so in his pocket?
Are you asking me the question, or are you just saying this
I'm
is on?
Just kind of running it out there for you and me and anyone else listening. By the way, no, just kidding, not yet. So, would
talk
you
to the guy from Belgium?
Belgium or girl?
Or girl, yes. More than
So,
likely it's a
would
guy.
you tell or no? You specifically.
Me specifically?
Yes, you specifically. Specifically.
If they just did something that was
Stole something.
Okay, if they stole something, I would
Confront them?
I don't know about confront them because
Tell on them?
Yeah, because I don't have that authority to punish somebody.
Right.
If I go up to them, they'll be like, "Shut up," and go, and they walk away.
But
Can't do nothing.
would that be the right thing to do at that situation?
Tell somebody they did something
Okay,
wrong.
you're at Home Depot and you see customer over there stick something in their pocket. Do you say, hey, that's not yours? Or do you go to the front and, if anybody works there anymore, get one of the workers and say, hey, that person just stuck it in their pocket? And I know, I've seen enough movies to say that person, what are they going to say? I was going to pay for it. I just had nowhere to put it right now. That happens. So, in any situation, should you say something or just rock and roll? Don't say a word, move on. Don't get involved. You know how that goes.
I would not say don't get involved, but I would.
That's most people's idea nowadays.
Oh, yeah. Most people, there was that. It's a one-time thing. I don't have.
That's what she said.
You're really not like that once I tell you what I'm going to say.
God. Well, okay.
There's one story. I'm not saying it's like a drawn-out thing, but there was a woman on a subway. I think it was either in New York or Chicago. I can't remember. A woman was on a subway, and a guy comes up and starts raping this woman in the middle of the subway, a packed subway. No one does anything.
Wow.
And then the only reason we know about it is because someone had a video of it.
Wow.
Somebody videotaped the guy raping her.
Mm.
No one said a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly can see that happening. I can't see it happening in the South. Well, yeah, I can. More and more people where I live, where I've grew up, have become less and less social. More and more inward and less wanting to help someone. I used to think that was a given, but it ain't that way no more.
Well, it's not that way. Part of it is an antisocial society that we're in.
Thanks, COVID.
No, it's even before COVID.
I know.
But even after COVID, I mean,
It's worse. It's way worse.
We end up with problems like the guy from
Thanks, Fauci.
was it in New York where those guy with the it was New York City where the guy
New York City.
There was a Michael Jackson impersonator who had mental problems. And he was on the
Kind of like Michael Jackson.
He was on the subway threatening people, telling them he was going to kill them and stuff like that. And a white U.S. Army veteran, from what I understand, he put the guy in a chokehold, put him in the recovery position. The guy was fine until the ambulance got there and was on the way to the hospital, and the guy died.
Ooh.
Well, now,
So what? Okay, that's good. The accountability of that.
But that is. Mm-hmm. But now the guy that put him in the chokehold is being charged with murder.
He killed somebody.
He didn't kill him.
He put him in the chokehold.
He was fine until he was in the ambulance and gone. They put him in the recovery position. The guy was able to walk and go up there. He saved these people.
Well, nothing happened though. Could have happened, yeah, but didn't. That's a tough. I mean, I'm no lawyer. You know, what I do for a living is not judge folks. Not a lawyer, not a judge, not a police officer. I'm not telling what I do, but it ain't that. So, as far as accountability goes, are you saying that
I'm saying people are less likely to hold people accountable if they're going to be criminally charged for stopping somebody. If there's
I'm processing, I'm sorry.
If there's somebody going through and threatening people, and these people do feel threatened, but they're too scared to do anything about it, and there's somebody that's willing to stop this person, whether it is through the means of taking their life.
What if the other people are just showing restraint? Not scared to do something, just showing restraint.
Who are we to say?
I am. I'm asking the question. I mean, we have to react to what we think we need to react to, but we also need to be accountable for those actions, whatever that is. If you rode the bus to work Monday, that would be funny. If you rode the cheese,
bus that comes anywhere near here.
Well, let's just say you rode the cheese to work. You know what the cheese is? You're looking at me funny. The cheese, the school bus. You know, it's a block of cheese.
I was always on the short white one.
You never heard of the cheese?
No.
Well,
continue.
Let's say Chris was walking. Chris was riding the cheese. Chris was riding the cheese to work Monday at 6 a.m. We know this is hypothetical.
Yeah, because you're saying 6 a.m.
And you get on there and you see a guy in an altercation with a lady. And
what kind of altercation?
Verbal.
Okay.
And it's getting pretty heated. And you sit there for a minute. Maybe you're 2 seats behind and 1 over, and your window is down and theirs is up, and the bus driver's not paying any attention, and you hear some pretty rough language, curse and loud, all these things. So he kind of shoves her into the side of the bus, just with a, putting his weight on her. And she's saying, stop, stop. So you think it's time to intervene.
Because it is.
Okay. So let's hear the reaction. He's just leaning on her pretty hard.
And she's saying, stop,
She's
it
saying,
hurts.
get off me, get off me. So what do you do?
There's a difference between her saying, get off me, and ow, this hurts, stop.
Okay. Either way, you pick the scenario.
Until she's saying that she's being hurt.
You're not going to intervene?
Not really, because, there's no...
Okay, she says, somebody get him off me.
Then, yeah, I'd intervene.
And you're going
to
jerk him off.
Mm-hmm. You're laughing at that, but... How'd you go?
So you're going to...
I'm going to pull
the guy off of the female.
Yes.
Okay. In that process, when you pull the guy off the female, something happens to the guy. Hits his head, gets a concussion, dies, whatever. Something serious happened from your action of removing him from the seat to the ground or the other side of the bus, whatever. Do you feel like that you are accountable for his injuries? Or did he start the problem and you finished it?
I think, if anything, he's accountable for the things that have happened. Because if it was not for him doing those things...
It's a great argument to have, because I see each side of that.
Because if he did not start pushing on that woman...
Maybe you don't know the whole story, though.
It don't matter.
She started it. Hypothetical.
Where does that matter?
She started it. She slept with his brother. She's pregnant with his child. And she just wrecked the car. Phil, you don't know this. What I'm trying to say is you don't know the situation.
What I'm trying to say is, unless she put hands on him,
and that could have happened prior to you getting on the cheese.
That don't matter.
It doesn't matter that she shoved him before they got on the cheese.
If he had the restraint not to do something to her before then,
maybe she ran on the bus and he couldn't grab her. Again, hypothetical, but you stop the situation. Now he is harmed. All right. So you feel like you're justified by laying hands on him, if you will.
Yeah. To help somebody that's in need.
Okay. Let's say they put him on the ambulance. They take him to the hospital and he dies. Are you responsible?
No.
Not at all.
No, because it's not my fault that he's decided.
But you put your hands on him.
He put his hands on a female.
But he didn't put it on you, though.
It's not the law. The law is not somebody has to put their hands on you. The law is they either have to put their hands on you.
But does a shove constitute a killing? No. I didn't mean to, right? Well, he could say, I didn't mean to shove her, but he can't because he's dead.
I have... Just because I did something and then later on that's kind of like using... I don't want to be political.
No. We've already killed a guy on the bus here. We don't need to throw politics on top of it.
Well, I was just going to go off of the way people are using a guy at one of the security guards for January 6th. Trying to say that his heart attack he had 2 days later that he died from was because
Complications from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not in the middle of that. I didn't live in his body, so I don't know. It's possible. But I don't know. Accountability is what we was talking about, and then we went off killing the guy on the bus.
No,
so are you accountable for that?
But that's the thing, is are you accountable for, it's not really accountable, are you liable for something like that?
Maybe.
I say no.
It's usually left up to a judge or a jury.
Majority of the time, it'd probably just be a judge.
Maybe a jury. Maybe. You have that right.
Yeah, because
to be judged by a jury.
But that's what I'm kind of was getting at with that, is because of where this guy's at, being charged with killing somebody.
Which one are we talking about?
The guy in New York,
Michael Jackson.
The guy who killed the Michael Jackson impersonator.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing what he thought was right, protecting those people.
I get it. It's commendable to protect folks.
At the same time, though, down here in the South, say something like that were to happen, the exact same situation that happened up in New York, this guy down here in the South, if it happened, would be, I wouldn't say he'd be a hero, but he wouldn't be charged with murder.
Maybe. We don't know.
More than likely.
We don't know.
Because, well, more than likely he wouldn't.
Don't know.
You keep saying we don't know. We can take a good educational guess. Because
okay, if I was a lawyer and a man kills another man, law states murder wrong. You got a case.
No, not really.
Yeah, really.
No, because the law also says you have the right to protect yourself.
Especially if you said the man was insane or crazy or whatever it was.
The law says you have a right to protect yourselves and others.
So if when the guy pulled the fork out on the cops and they shot him and killed him, are the cops justified killing a handicapped man for pulling out a fork?
A fork, no.
That happened in the South.
Okay. And they said it was justified?
I can't remember. I remember the case. I just don't remember what happened.
But see, that's where it goes case by case. Because it's like the thing up in New York. No, the guy does not deserve to be convicted of murder. No, I guess the guy didn't.
But he killed somebody.
He was protecting people who, after the fact, who told people that they were afraid for their lives. And he came through and put the guy in a chokehold. We can say killed him, but it's not like he went up to put a gun to his head, pulled the trigger.
Sure, there's different ways of killing folks.
He put the guy in a chokehold. He rolled him. He did everything he could to make sure the guy would be okay. He rolled him over into the recovery position. He waited with him until the ambulance came, and they took him away. And it was in that ambulance he died.
That kind of reminds me of another story. It's true. George Floyd. How do you feel about that? Where's the accountability there?
The guy going to jail.
Guys, plural.
Well, they're all going. The main guy who got convicted in Minneapolis is going to jail.
The one who put the knee on the neck, killed him.
That's the story.
That's the video.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. I watched it.
They proved it in court.
I watched it.
They proved it in court. His knee was not on the neck.
They drug him 20 yards across to the other side of the street where they had him in handcuffs on the side of the road. He was ready to go to jail. So they drug him to the other side of the street, put him at the police cruiser tire, and held him there in the hot sun, saying, "Man, I'm hot. Can't breathe. What are they doing it for? I don't understand. That's murder. What that is. Just because you have a badge, you get away with that kind of thing.
First of all, I have to go against your narrative you just gave.
Which was
they didn't drag him across the road.
They most certainly did.
They did not.
I watched the video.
You didn't watch watch the right video.
Okay.
You watched a video of somebody else.
They had him, his sister, and that other man in the van. They took all three of them out.
They took him out.
The sister and the other man they made sit on the curb next to the wall over there. They take George Floyd out. They cuff him. They set him against the wall away from his sister and the other man. Handcuffed right there. They could have put him in a police cruiser.
They did put him in a police cruiser, and he started screaming he couldn't breathe.
No.
And so they took, yes.
That's not right.
That is right.
That is not right. They
right.
took him from that side of the street, drug him across the intersection to another police car, still handcuffed, stuck his face in the pavement.
Because he was resisting getting in the second
He was
police
handcuffed.
Cruiser. He was resisting
You've got
getting
three
in the
cops.
police. He was resisting getting in the police
You've
cruiser.
got three cops against one man.
Okay.
Handcuffed man. You've got guns.
And they didn't use them.
He's handcuffed. Why don't you just put him in the police car? Makes no sense.
Actually,
That's murder, is what that is.
It makes plenty of sense.
No, it does not.
Putting him on the ground till he calms down.
Why drag him 20 yards to do that? Makes no sense.
They might have been putting him in a different police cruiser, walked him across the street instead of dragging him like you're saying.
They drug him.
Did not drag him.
Okay. The accountability of the cops, for the most part,
they were held
country.
accountable.
Yes, but look what it took. They would not have been held accountable if there had not been serious complaints, if just call it that. Serious complaints.
Well, at the exact same time, too, there is no evidence that what the cop did actually killed him.
Okay.
There's
So,
no.
He's laying there on the ground. The dude is holding him down, him saying, I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And then he stops breathing.
Because of the 8-ball
5 minutes later,
that he had swallowed.
5 minutes later, the ambulance shows up. He's dead. On the spot. Dead. There you go.
Okay.
Murder.
So it had nothing to do with the.
I don't know if it did or not. I'm not a medical
You're
examiner.
calling it murder.
I am.
Could have.
From what I saw.
From what you saw,
Mm-hmm.
I watched
too.
and listened to the case.
Okay, I watched the video.
I watched the case.
The actual video where he got killed. I watched it.
You can't say he was killed because
You can.
no, you can't.
I just said it.
You can say it. You have the right to be wrong.
And it's true.
You have the right to be wrong. It's true. Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
And so for those cops to be accountable, so he has a family that is left. Was he a stellar man? No, not a perfect man. Not even a good guy. He had a storied past, and I wouldn't want him to live next door to me.
And people were worshiping him like he was
I wouldn't go with worship, but remembering him, if you worship another man, that's your own. You got your own issues. But trying to say how he died was wrong. Yeah, there's a lot of people doing that. Some of them's doing it the wrong way. There's a way to remember folks, a right way, and then there's a wrong way. And once we, I was going to get into a whole other side of that, but I'm not.
No,
No. That take too long. We only got so much time on this deal. The hamster's he's running out of gas right now. But we are talking about leadership. Something that I do believe that is undersold in this country is are our judges. That's a job. That's a very difficult job that you can't get away from. It's with you 24/7. So just imagine somebody coming before you in the courtroom, and I know if you got a jury, they're going to make the decision, and I get why they do that. But a judge sentencing you to life in prison or to be executed, that would be tough. To tell me you don't take that home with you and live with, that's tough. I couldn't imagine. But the judges in leadership roles have one of the hardest jobs in our country, because you can't see the emotional and probably maybe like a doctor, maybe for a doctor's sake, maybe after you've seen so many people die, pass on, if you will, maybe you become numb to the fact.
Jaded.
So possibly judges are that way, to where maybe telling the murderer that you're going to be executed, it would still have to sting. It's still a human life. It's still worthy, even though they've committed some horrid crime, murders, whatever.
Well, I mean, abortion shows you that people don't really have love for human life. So there's people all the time talking about abortion. They don't think of something as a human. They don't think of a baby inside of a woman at any time as a human life. There's no, you can always have a judge not care about taking human life. There's plenty of people that don't care about taking human life.
Do you think if someone has an abortion, then they don't care about human life? Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I said. I said there are people that fight for it
For
constantly,
it, but hasn't had one.
There's plenty of people who fight for abortion,
but I'm
and
saying,
never had one.
If a woman has an abortion, are you saying at that stage in their life they don't have the love for human life, or are they able to? I'm trying to get where that's going.
I'm saying that if a woman has an abortion, at that point in time, they are putting another human life above theirs.
Below theirs.
Or below theirs. Yeah, they're putting themselves above
first. Mm-hmm.
A person, another person.
Their situation does not need a child in it, so let's kill it.
Yes.
Yeah. But that person can, and probably will, have love of human life later on in their life. They might go on to have children, have a family, and learn that that was a mistake.
Maybe. But then you also have the people that use abortion as contraceptive.
That's sad. Sad.
I don't know how we got on this.
We were talking about judges, and you said some judges and so on and so forth.
Oh, you were talking about the death penalty. I was like,
judges. Mm-hmm. And so leadership, these qualities, we talked about communication, vision, empathy, accountability, and the next one is gratitude. Gratitude. 3 times in a row. It's got to make it something. Gratitude. The quality of thankfulness. You being thankful. Readiness to show appreciation for and return kindness. Gratitude. Being grateful.
You got to be grateful for the people that you've had working for you, having thankfulness for having gratitude for the people that were in the position before you or have taught you the attributes you need to be a leader. I mean,
do you think people they acquire these qualities, or are they instilled in them from an early age? It's probably some of both, but on the heavy side, would you think they're instilled in us, or we're just learning them ourselves?
The better leaders, it's instilled in them. If they don't have to be taught how to have empathy, if they don't have to be taught how to show gratitude. For those kind of qualities, it's usually easier and shown better when they're instilled in you and not just
learn them on the fly.
learned.
Mm-hmm. I think that gratitude to me, being thankful about just other people in general. As a leadership role, I would think that a leader would look at his in a workplace situation. It would look at the workforce and be grateful for what he does have. Not always looking to replace, the slow one in the bunch or the overactive one in the bunch. Just, not looking at any screw up. I'm replacing you. That's not gratitude.
You want more of a
you want leadership to be very even keel as well.
yes.
You don't want it to be spiked up, spiked down, spiked. You want to be
Level.
even. Yeah. Level-headedness, I think, comes into play.
I mean, people all the time want a routine, and
Yes,
they
your
want
brain
things
is
to
lazy.
stay the same. They don't want, like you said, a spike up, spike down, spike up, spike down, because it just the inconsistencies. I mean, that would not make you a great leader.
We have lazy brains. That's known.
Yep.
And because my drive to work, I don't remember much of any of it. Been doing it a long time, and the brain's on autopilot. And maybe if a deer jumps out or something, I'll wake up. But for the most part, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. And
Well, you do know what you're doing because you've done
right,
it
it's
so
on
many times.
autopilot though. The brain, there's nothing new happening. You know what? If I get a new car, those first few rides to work in the morning will be brand new. I'm in a different car. But like I say, we do have lazy brains, and we want to stay on that routine. Same thing. That's how we work.
But
So-
as a leader, though, you've got to be ready for those ups and downs,
Yes,
and hope
and stay in it
and
even.
you not cause them.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. You are a reader of minds. I have wrote down here, the exercise of power is not the same as the practice of leadership. Let me say it again. I'll say it
Yes,
again.
say that again.
The exercise of power is not the same as the practice of leadership. Just because one is powerful in their words, powerful in their who they are, that's not the same as leadership qualities. Just because you're powerful doesn't mean you're a leader. If you have to force someone by your power to do something, that's not leadership. Leadership comes from guiding folks, not from powering, twisting their arm behind their back and making them do something.
Using your power to force them to do something you want.
Instead of using your communication skills,
Yes.
your words.
There's tons of leaders throughout history that you can look at that just they use their power to just tell everybody how to make them happy and didn't use their power to help make their society grow.
You know,
or learn.
leadership people, leaders, if you will, or if you won't, either way, will not always tell you what makes you happy. Because that's not always the best thing or the truth.
No.
Telling someone the truth might make them sad, might make them mad. But at the end of the day,
but they need to hear it.
they need to hear the truth. I've tried to live by that right there. I've tried to live by that, whatever that is.
Tried to live by telling people the truth instead
Yes.
of just telling them what
Thank
makes
you.
them happy.
Someone told me the other day, and I can't remember who, or I'm not telling who, one or the other, said to me, it's not always good to tell somebody the truth. don't know that I agree with that. I think it's always good to tell somebody the truth. Right?
So that's a hard question because there's people.
I'm going to guess you can put it in a situation where it's not good to tell somebody the truth, but isn't it right though?
I can agree with that statement. It is always right to tell somebody the truth, but telling somebody the truth isn't always a good thing
For you or for them?
for both parties. Because
Yeah, telling somebody they're ugly, probably not very bright. You're
No,
ugly, Chris.
well, that's something I already knew. But
Just saying that's subjective though. That's my opinion.
but say somebody
You're not ugly though.
say somebody is dealing with a death in their family.
Yeah, that's a raw time
Somebody loses their parents, a spouse,
where they lose them.
a child. What?
That's that word, they lose them.
Somebody loses.
They died.
Yes,
Gotcha.
I think everybody understood that.
I know.
But so that at that point in time,
But
the truth might be that you accidentally broke. Let's say you broke their air conditioning in their house. Okay, you borrowed their car, then their person died, and you wrecked their car.
you tell them you wrecked their car.
That would be the correct thing to do. But at the same time,
Maybe less is best. Or you just don't say anything. You don't lie and say I didn't wreck your car.
you don't overwhelm them.
I get it.
I'm not saying lie to them.
Right.
I'm just saying
Maybe you just don't say
telling them
anything.
the truth right there could
I get it.
do something to them.
Yeah. Somehow we were talking about exercising your power is not the same as leadership skills. And we're talking about cars crashing.
No, we were talking about whether or not telling somebody the truth is the best thing.
Yes. Just because someone or a group is in a leadership role does not say that they're a leader. You believe that? We said that earlier about school teachers, about they got tenure and maybe they're not a good school teacher.
No, you said that about teachers. I said that about politicians.
Yes, you did.
We've got plenty of politicians that don't really know how to lead.
They're
They
in
just
leadership roles,
they're in the
but
leadership
they don't know
role.
how to lead.
Correct. They like the power and they like, in all honesty, let's use our president.
He's been in politics leadership for a long time. Yeah.
He's been in the Senate. He was in the vice presidency. He's now in the presidency.
Been there for a while.
He does not know how to lead this country.
Does not know how to tell the truth.
Correct. There too.
But he's a politician. That goes with the job.
Correct.
Like a used car salesman. You either lie or go find another job.
You expect a politician to lie to you.
Yeah, that's a shame. I wish it was not that way, but it is.
But you also expect a president to be able to lead.
Yeah. I'm trying to
You
distinguish
expect the
between the two.
leader of a nation
Lead.
to lead.
And lie.
Lead and lie. That's what they're all good at.
That's American politician leading and lying.
No, not
Brought
America.
to you by the U.S. government.
No, I'm not putting a caveat on American politician.
Yeah, in general.
Politicians.
But I mean, that's what we know.
Yes.
That's where we're at. Just because someone is in a leadership position does not make them a leader. You could park yourself in a garage. Doesn't make you a car. Well, there's some people today that would say I identify as a car. I'm a Honda.
And that goes to the leadership of our country.
Sort of.
Letting people be
You got to look at
idiots.
mom and dad, though.
Well,
Your
they're supposed to be the leader of the family.
Exactly.
And they allowed...
leadership position in the family, I think at one time, was the man. At one time.
It's supposed
Maybe.
to be the man.
Maybe. Although the mother gets all the credit.
The mother is
Am I
supposed
right?
to be the leadership of raising the kids because she's the one that's there, and she is the way it's been biologically. Women are more emotional and more level-headed. They are supposed to be the ones. They are the ones better equipped to take care of the kids at home, whereas the man is better equipped to go hunting for food.
That
tilling
ain't
the
happening
field
today.
to yeah, I know, because
We can't hunt. We don't have woods.
I mean, we're to a day and age right now where people don't have to worry about where their next meal's
Yeah.
coming from.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about.
But you like to prepare it just in case, some people use that. Just in case I'm going to shoot the squirrel out of this tree and go eat it.
I'm more of going off of people are getting too comfortable, and we as people need purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have so many people that are fighting for the purpose of this person should be able to change their gender.
Mm-hmm.
This person should be able to have an abortion. All things that are detrimental to human life.
So they don't have enough to worry about. That's what you're saying. Comfortable in their
They're
regular life.
We are so comfortable here in
Instead
America.
of looking for tonight's food, they don't have to worry about that.
No.
You don't have to worry about walking home from work. It's take them 3 hours to get home. They're going to be tired when they get there.
They don't have to worry about walking 2 hours to the nearest swamp to get a jug full of
Swamp water.
swamp water to carry it
Tasty.
2 hours home, then have to boil it and then find a way to keep it.
You would sure appreciate it.
Yeah.
Am I right?
And
You're giving me some thoughts.
we have all these people. I've seen where people go over to these African nations and like, do you know what a woman is? Yes, a woman is.
You're doing your accent.
It was not on purpose. A woman is a female with a vagina.
It has
A
children.
man is a person with a penis.
There you go. Seems simple, but let's complicate it a little bit. Are you sure that's a man? Yep, pretty sure.
Yep.
But he wears women's clothes.
Oh, but
He's a
there's,
cross dresser.
there's people that have both.
Yeah, there are those people.
No,
Yeah,
most
it happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's an anomaly. It doesn't make them not a person.
No, definitely. It's got an issue. Like me being without hair. It's a thing. No hair, bald, if you will.
Yes, I am losing my hair. What do you want to say?
You've got more hair than I probably had my whole life. So my last thought was leadership.
No, that was the first.
First and last. To stay the course. When things go crazy, good leadership do not. They don't go crazy. They stay the course. They even kill just as well as they can. When things get crazy and out of hand, they stay the course. Think about leadership you've known throughout your life, wherever that is, that for the most part, it probably stayed pretty even keel. No real spikes up, no real spikes down. I was thinking about leadership in the church that I've witnessed over the years, and we have had spikes at times, but nobody was really at the helm at that time.
You talking about your church?
Yeah, and that's why it spiked, because nobody was really driving. I know, Jesus is in control. I get it, but He give us hands to work with.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Okay. And so when it spiked, there was not anybody there really taking control. And you need leadership in the church, regardless denomination, all that. You need groups lead in the church situation?
Because I know in the Church of Christ we have elders.
You do.
In the Baptist you have
Deacons.
Catholics have popes, cardinals, all those things.
And they all have sinners.
Yep. But they all have their leadership that is supposed to be the shepherds to the flock.
Yes. Amen.
And if they don't
shepherd,
if they don't take care of their flock,
they're running wild.
A wolf's just going to be able to come in
Snatch them up.
Yep. That being the devil.
Yep. Satan.
Is that French? Satan.
Satan.
It's been a good day.
Yep.
Good podcast.
Word.
Got a word? You want somebody to text you?
I'm glad you asked, Chris. Hey, we just want to say this. If you've stayed around this long, and trust me, if you've stayed around this long, you are our friend. Here's what we want to do. We want you to text. We want you to text 615-330-3644. Leave us the word.
What's the word?
I'm glad you asked.
Is it leadership?
It is leadership.
No way.
Leave us the word leadership and anything else you want to type. If you want to type in your name, we'll mention you. If you want to give us an idea for a future podcast, we may use it. If you have something you want us to say on here, let me know. We will say it if it's legal. Again, thank you. 615-330-3644. That's the number.
All right, Mark. We'll try to do this again another time.
Yes, we will.
Maybe not.
Maybe.